but not until that bus returns to the yard and you pull the system from the camera and then you find out where it was.
Okay.
So
Right,
this
right. It's not real
system,
time. That's
this
fine.
system, you log into the system and you can see where the bus is, actual time,
Yep.
like right now,
Okay, that's fine.
where it's going. You can see where it stopped, how long it stopped, when it started moving again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's fine. I'm just trying to.
I'm
So
looking
those are the
that,
differences,
I'm looking that sometime during the rest of this school year, we'll come back with a presentation on the GPS, have more details on what it's capable of, what it's gonna mean, what it's gonna cost, all those kind of things.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead. My only other question was, you said, the parent could log into Power School, pardon my cold, and
It's
see,
summer.
and see where their child was. How do they know the child's actually on the bus?
No, it's not Power School.
Oh,
But they're two different things.
That's two different things you
So-
have there.
So what I was saying was, in the, back to the very first slide, there is, perfect, thank you. Keep going, all the way back. There we go, one more. Okay, so slide 2 after the initial opening slide. What we're looking at getting is the route and district planning, which is routing. We are not looking to get the information portal. So what the information portal is they could log into this system and see what their child's busing information is, what bus they're on in the morning, what bus they're in the afternoon, and that would be live time. So if we made a student record change that we're moving them from bus 1 to bus 2, the parent would be able to log in right away and see that. Where right now currently, we haven't found it to be a problem. That right now currently what would happen would be if we made the change now, tonight, around midnight or so, the information would be pulled from our system, put into Power School. And then tomorrow morning, the parent could look in and see the change that the child is now on bus 2, where this would just allow them to see it today. So the other system that you might have been referring to is the student tracking system, and the parent notification. The parent notification we don't know a whole lot about yet, but it is an app that the parents could track where the bus is. And I don't want to answer too many questions on that because I don't want to give you incorrect information. But the student tracking part would be for us to know who got on the bus and who didn't get on the bus. And there's 2 ways that they could check in. They could use a card system, or we could choose to have a tablet in each bus that they would just put in a code number. We do get a lot of calls where we are searching for children. Mom doesn't know where they are. We're searching everywhere. We actually have called the police a couple of times this year to help us, assist us find the child because the bus is returned. The driver said they weren't on. We've looked at the video camera. We didn't see the child. We've never lost a kid. But it did turn out that they were in an after-school program. Mom forgot, or dad picked up, didn't communicate with mom. That kind of thing happens. So we would be able to say the student wasn't on the bus immediately without trying to get in touch with the driver. So that's just what the student tracking system is, in addition to helping with the PDE reports.
so they would have to log on, like log in, swipe the
Yes.
card, swipe their ID.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, and currently the parents can go to the district Power School portal, the parent portal, and get their busing information. That'll be opened up starting Friday evening with the new information for this upcoming year. So that information they can get, not off of our routing system, but the routing system will put it into Power School, and it is available to them year-round.
So that student tracking is included in what you're.
No, not
It's
yet.
not
No.
included.
So
We
just
need
to
the
make that,
GPS first.
yeah, make that
So
perfectly
that's something
clear.
that'll come in, if you want, that'll come with the next step when we move towards the GPS.
So the part that I had presented earlier was the route and district planning, the field trip management, and the fleet maintenance. That is what is included in what we've presented. But there is the capability and the option for GPS if that's a direction that the district chooses to take down the road.
So you said this is the first step, and then GPS is an additional step. How many steps are there that you're looking to unroll over?
With GPS, we probably we could move into the student tracking and everything. That all ties in with GPS.
Do you have any idea what the cost of those two things
Not
are?
at this point.
I mean, I think.
It wouldn't be the $70,000, that's the main software. This year, for instance, it's costing, for the license for the trip tracker, it's costing us $9,000. For the Fleet Vision, it's costing us $5,600 for the software. So I would put it probably in between the $6,000 to $9,000 range. I'm just guessing, knowing what details come out of it, that, you know, the software for the tracking and the parent notification things, each of those would have a dollar amount to them. But those two don't come unless you take the software,
And what we're
the
presenting
GPS
is,
software.
But what if, like, is there something where, I just want to, is on that same train of thought, that's why I'm sorry.
sure, go ahead.
Is it though, like, if, when you unroll these, I'm just thinking, is it one of those things where if you did everything more at once, do you get a better discount versus enrolling them little by little, or does it not matter?
Not really, the software costs are the same, no
Okay.
matter if you get them now or later.
Okay.
Are there startup costs though for the other two things?
Yes,
Okay. Would you be able to, by the board meeting, get us a breakdown of this is how much it will cost to add these additional things
Sure.
upfront and month, and yearly?
yeah. But you're talking about the GPS and student tracking, things like that?
Parent notification.
Yes, and is there any,
Is it everything that you're interested in or just some things? What we're presenting now is what we need to manage the transportation department with the fleet management that we currently have being obsoleted.
I guess I'm looking
Just-
for long-term, where do you want to
Sure.
end up?
Okay.
And can you break down then, this is the timeline, this is the cost along the timeline, and this is, what it will be finally when we end up where we are, what the differences are in what we get for that money going, down the
Going
line.
forward, yeah.
If there are additional options, maybe let us know what the options are, what the costs are. Maybe you don't want those, but maybe you can let us know what they
At
are
least
and
let-
why you wouldn't want
yeah.
them. I don't
No
know.
problem.
Thank you.
Now, did you say you want that for the next committee
Before
meeting
the
or
board
before the
meeting.
board meeting?
Is it feasible to get it, I meant before
I-
the board meeting, but I don't know.
I would hope, but I didn't know, would that make the difference if you didn't have it in making your decision?
I guess I just like
forward?
to have a long-term plan of what our end goal
Okay,
is, that's all.
we'll see
Yeah.
how fast we can get that from them. Yes. Any other questions at this time? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Bucks County Intermediate Unit, the agreement to sell meals from Pennridge School District to the Bucks County IU for Head Start Early Learning Program.
Okay, yep, Gina's here tonight to go over this. This is a new program this year. There's going to be two schools, West Rock Hill and Divler, that will have preschool programs in this year. Those students also need fed, and so the IU had reached out to us and asked Gina if she would be interested in providing those services. So they could either contract with us to do it, or they could bring in meals from an outside vendor. And we're there every day making meals, so it kind of fits all together. So Gina's going to go over this since it's brand new to the district and new to all of us, and exactly what this means, how we're going to go about it.
And since they qualify based on income, this is all covered by the state, isn't it, as far as the meals and everything?
Yes, so, Sean, you did a pretty good job of explaining that.
Now go.
Okay, so this is an agreement between the Pennridge School District and the Bucks County IU to have us sell them meals for the pre-K programs that are beginning at Divler and West Rock Hill, beginning on September the 4th. So we have been asked to provide three meals a day, so it's breakfast, lunch, and a PM snack. And there are 18 students in each classroom, so it's a total of 36 kids, 18 at Divler and 18 at West Rock Hill. To get into the program, it is based upon an application process that Bucks County residents have to go through, and it is based on income and economically disadvantaged students. So we have given the IU a pricing structure for a breakfast, a lunch, and a snack. So we will bill them on a monthly basis for the meals that we are serving to those students. And I have made sure that our costs are all covered. And with the agreement, my projection is about a 12% profit for us, based upon what the pricing structure is and what we're charging and what my costs will be. So the regulations are a little bit different for pre-K students, so that is something that we are in the process of training our staff on. However, the meals are going to be very similar to what we're serving the same day to the K through 5 students in each of the schools. The one difference is the students eat in the classroom, so they are not commingled in with the other kids in the cafeteria. So the meals will be picked up from the cafeteria by an aide, I guess the classroom aide, and then they take care of serving the meals to the students in the classroom at each meal period. That's kind of it in a nutshell, I think. Do you have any questions?
I guess I thought that it was, that the cost of the meals were fixed, so they're not fixed.
The cost of the meals, we had to provide them with a price that we were going to charge them per meal. So they take those meals and they get the reimbursement from the state. They claim those meals, so we're not claiming them. It's almost kind of thinking of it as, the way I'm looking at it is almost like a catering event, if you will. So we're billing them, and the money that I'm getting in is covering all my costs, but they are getting the reimbursement from the state for what I'm charging them, if that makes sense.
So how does the state reimbursed amount compare to what we're charging?
So, yeah, I know. So the reimbursement rates are, for the IU, do you want the actual numbers?
No, how does it compare? Is it the same or?
No, so they're getting a couple cents more versus what I am charging. So it's a win for them, and it's also a win for us. So nobody's having to incur any costs for this program. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, we're back to public comment. Go ahead.
Sue Furlong, West Rocky Township. I just had a couple of observations and questions. The software for the transportation department sounds great. The only thing that came to mind is you are spending a little extra money and supposedly making your staff a whole lot more efficient, which I think is wonderful. But is there any savings in terms of having that staff that has supposedly freed up their time with a better efficiency? What is expected to happen with that time that's being freed up in terms of, cost savings that are associated to offset the cost increase? It's an efficiency thing. So anyway, that would be one of my questions. It's a moot point, at least at the present, but I was a little confused when we were asking board members if they wanted to take LERTA forward if it had been deemed by our legal counsel not to be a qualified project. How can you take an unqualified project forward? To me, that, I wouldn't know why you would propose to ask that question. On number, well, anyway, it's the student assistance expansion in the elementary and middle school. The remark was made that you're shifting dollars away from other areas. I would think as a board, you would like to know what those other areas are to see if that really does fit the district priorities. Sitting out in the audience, perhaps you have information, but the public and the parents, at least based on what happened tonight, have no idea where that money is coming from. You told us where it's going to, but it's expanding the student assistance expansion in the elementary and middle schools, and you said that, and I can't pronounce your name, I apologize, was moving things, was reallocating her budget. I'm just curious where the money is coming from. Thank you.
Thank you. When she was talking about reallocating the money, it was going from an old company that we were working with to a new one, and the new one is less expensive and they think meets the needs of our students better. So that was the reasoning behind the move.
Same group of students?
For that.
It
Yes.
sounded like it was a different focus.
It would affect the same the students with the same needs.
Okay.
The attorney's recommendation was that given the information that we have, and we asked very thorough, detailed questions, that it did not meet the standard required for LERTA status. That being said, it's up to each individual board member to decide whether or not they want to move it forward or not. The attorney doesn't have a vote, so we have to decide whether or not to take that advice or not. So, and we still have to ask the question, so that's what we did.
The other was the efficiency in the transportation department. How do I benefit as a taxpayer with the time that's being freed up?
Well, certainly we're looking at better efficiencies within the routing of the students.
No, I'm talking about the staff.
Well, we have one router, we have one director and one assistant director who manage over 120 employees. So we're not going to cut staff from the software packaging, if that's what you're asking.
I just wondered if there was any
Yeah.
reallocation of
They've grown a
resources.
very, 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 very bare bones management staff now. So, and our router works a tremendous amount of hours, and so we're hoping that we cut that down a bit to closer to a normal work schedule.
Okay, so the efficiency comes in a better or a happier employee.
Oh, yeah, and hopefully a better product for the parents
Right.
and the students.
Okay, good.
Any other public comments? Okay, thank you. Then we'll adjourn.